Welcome to the Digital PR Show. You want the future of marketing and PR? You've come to the right place. We're spilling all the secrets on what it really takes to crush it in PR, digital marketing, and agency life. No jargon and no gatekeeping. Whether you're building a brand, scaling a biz, or just here for the hot takes, we've got you covered. Let's get digital.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the CIPR podcast. I'm Ryan O'Donnell, joined today by the Pilarskis. It's Christina and Peter. How are you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good. I'm just trying to take this podcast recording from our new outdoor office space that we created in our one nice day of summer in Calgary that we're apparently going to get in 2025.
Yeah, it is bizarre weather this year. I'll take it over the smoke, but it would be nice to see the sun for... Like, we're getting Vancouver weather this year. Not okay. Not okay. Yeah.
No.
Well, thought leadership is on the menu today. And I mean, you can be a thought leader, whether you're inside or outside. But I think we should establish, because this is a critical part of the online world, especially within the work that we do, but it's changing at a truly ridiculous rate. I would say it's even changed in the 3 months that I've been with CIPR. I've noticed changes on the posts that happen on LinkedIn and how people are doing it. So I think we should establish a baseline though, because you two are experts. So I'm curious, how would you define thought leadership to set the baseline?
It's a good question. I mean, I'll just say that first of all, I think thought leadership, while online is fantastic, also has to be met with some offline thought leadership, or should have some offline components to it. Obviously I've put myself out there as a speaker, for example, speaking at conferences, doing keynotes, all those types of things. I'm embarking on the journey to write a book now, which I'm hoping to have out for January 2026. And so all of those are sort of thought leadership, I guess, pieces and components that all actually kind of feed into my online thought leadership persona, really. If I think about writing a book, it's kind of a summary of everything I've learned, all my keynotes, all of the insights I've gathered over the last little while. So, obviously I'm a subject matter expert, in quotes, on adopting AI in tourism, and I've spent a lot of countless hours with tourism, organizations and leaders. And so I think, first of all, thought leadership, there needs to be some subject matter expertise associated with it, but not always. There has to be some kind of subject matter expertise, I suppose. But then to me, it's just about telling my story and sharing my learnings in all the places and all the platforms, online being one of them.
Yeah, I would say same, but different. Like for me, thought leadership is like the ability to story tell around why you're great. So I think for some clients, for us, it's, it's almost like a guess the client I'm talking about moment. But we have one client that sells a product, high-end product, but he has built a really cool organization. And he has a really cool corporate culture and one that's engaging. And he is an experienced business leader. This isn't his first rodeo. So being able to then talk to him about, not only his products, which is what we're doing from time to time anyways, but talking about the man and the leadership behind the products. Being able to talk to him about, okay, how did you build this business? How did you make it successful? What's your corporate culture every day? And put that out into a space. And to me, thought leadership has been done for years. People have been talking about why they're great leaders or why they've built great companies. But fast forward to today, where values-based business is, whether it's on trend or whether it's because the up and coming generations value it, or whether it's just because of politics, economics, whatever, it is something that is important to the average person. And so being able to now align with, again, this client that I'm using as an example, okay, he subscribes to these values as he's building his business. Hey, that is the same values I prescribe to. And hey, we should do business together. I just think it allows you to take your product and business story the one step further to then unlock a new target audience.
Peter, you talked about how thought leadership is, obviously it's online, but it's also what you do outside of the office and in person. And I mean, thought leadership originally was just the kind of your aura, if you use the millennial terms, the vibes you gave off when you walked into an office, or word of mouth. It's something my dad taught me, is that like reputation is everything. And that's kind of one of the original thought leaders. But now here we are with platforms like LinkedIn, where you can carbon copy your ideas of leadership onto the internet for the world and random people who have no idea who you are to see, and also people who know you. So this, for either of you, how do you think a platform like LinkedIn has reshaped the way we leaders kind of deliver their expertise?
I think for me, LinkedIn comes down to really yeah, obviously being able to tell that story, but I think it comes down to authenticity at the end of the day, right? Like it's a good platform where, it started off as a platform where people went and applied for jobs, looked for jobs, all those things, and became more of a sort of traditional social media platform. But what I really like about it is that, it's a platform where people talk about the things I care about, like business and like business problems, or AI or whatever. So it's a cool platform because it's uniquely set up for business people to talk about business related things, but also to share their personality and share their authenticity and share sort of their right. So, if I think about thought leadership, if I think about who's Peter, the person, as the business owner, as the entrepreneur, or as the AI guy or whatever, it's like boxing is a part of my story and fitness is a part of my story. And right, like there's a whole person there. And so, like for me on LinkedIn, I try to share a little bit of everything, kind of sprinkled in with some thought leadership to really, I guess at the end of the day, just to be myself. And I really like that. And I think it's a platform that certainly, as a business person, lends itself well for me to be able to kind of accomplish all of those things. Because if I think about other channels, like my other channel is Instagram, it's like I can't really talk about business stuff on Instagram in the same way as I could on LinkedIn. I can't write in long form. I have a newsletter on LinkedIn that I write to longer form pieces, right? So there's just those things aren't available in some of those other channels. So that's what I really like about
I also think it's just like the place to go to see what is on trend in the business world. It's like similar to the other Instagram, you're going to see what's on trend in whatever you're following, fashion, music, whatever. And so for me, it's funny because I have this conversation. I feel like, Ryan, you're in a lot of these meetings where I bring up like, well, you've probably seen digital PR as this sexy term on LinkedIn and everyone's talking about digital PR, but it is a bit of that, right? And okay, who's talking about the latest for us marketing and PR trend of the day? And now again, back to this values-based piece, who's talking about it in a way that matches my vibe and that I want to move forward with. For me, it's like there's 3 or 4 people I follow on LinkedIn that talk about digital PR in the same way I do. And it's like, okay, these are my people. I like this. There's 3 or 4 people that I see talk about it in a way that I don't necessarily agree with or doesn't necessarily match the vibe. And I'm like, okay, probably not my matches. But for me, that's almost where this LinkedIn thought leadership play has kind of, I don't know, come together, solidified itself as like, okay, I want to do this for my business. Okay, I see these people talking about it. And then, okay, I'm digging one step further into who they are. Yeah, you look at the standard things, experience, years in business, reviews. But now I think because we've opened that Pandora's box, you're also looking at how are they talking about things? What else are they talking about? Cool, they've built a neat thing over here. They're doing this other thing. Or, I mean, Peter, I feel like you've made yourself a little bit famous for this, all the outdoor pics that you post on LinkedIn. You definitely share a slice of your life, and that's attracted a certain kind of person, I think.
Oh, 100%. And maybe I'll use this opportunity to air some grievances with LinkedIn because like they want you to share thought leadership, but I find often it's those personal posts that actually do much better than many other types of posts. And so you have to do both, I find, in order to actually grow your audience. To your point, Christina, like you can't just be sort of like well, you can, sorry. You can be just like a post about one thing and be like a one thing person. But most people don't do that. So I think you need to be a little bit more three-dimensional on LinkedIn in order to sort of, uh, I guess, make the algorithm happy. But that's actually a good thing. I think that's good, right? Because again, we do people do business with people, and so we don't want it to look robotic or sound robotic and sort of just be, the same kind of like on Instagram. I get, a couple of these tech bros that are just same post all the time. Bores me. I delete them, after time, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, people make fun of LinkedIn on other social media pages, right? People make fun of people for talking to each other like robots. thank you. I can't wait for this blank, just fitting the auto generated. Congratulations on your new position, Matthew. Like all of that stuff, right? People will make fun of that. But then you actually do some digging and no, you do see that there are people who really see the value in this. And I guess that kind of leads into my next question, which is about authenticity. Because how do you be authentic on a platform which gets a stigma for being inauthentic in a way that people are more maybe conforming or just using a similar kind of way for discussing with each other? So I guess because we've been talking about how thought leaders can stick out on this platform, to stand out in the good ways and to grab that attention, how important do you think being authentic to who you are is to creating like and maintaining credibility as a leader on that platform?
I mean, this is where I love video content, right? Like,
Yeah.
unfortunately, gone are the days where we go sit and have a lunch and learn and get together with people we don't know. And, I mean, they still exist, the after work cocktail hour, but like you're going and you're having this type of conversation, right? Oh, tell me about thought leadership. What are you seeing on LinkedIn? What are you doing lately? What are you seeing in the world of X industry? And I feel like it's the same. I mean, I have really loved the fact that, I mean, not just LinkedIn, but most of these platforms are leaning into serving up video content first. But I mean, shameless self promotion ties right into the strategy that we've put forward with clients where it's like, do this, have this conversation, showcase who you are, let your personality shine, say the words from your own mouth, as opposed to, I mean, Ryan, exactly what you said, the automatic form fill from LinkedIn. So, I mean, that's where I see it working, but also where like it's not even where we like see it work, like it is working. I feel like there's a lot of clients who have, I'm going to say, even been brave, do this video content first thought leadership strategy, and not only are their views increasing, not only are they getting high engagement, but they're also getting the whether it's potential new leads for their business. There's one client I was talking to the other day where he's seen better qualified people applying for jobs in his organization because of what he's put out on LinkedIn. So again, I do think there's a method to that. The short video, the not just writing the long form paragraph, but the like, hey, this is me, take me or leave me. I'm in my shorts and t-shirt, I'm in my baseball hat. It's the authentic me.
I don't even really see LinkedIn as a marketing channel. And even if you look at the marketing options as like running ads through LinkedIn, like they're not, yes, they're ads, but it's like sort of like kind of a different feel of an ad compared to like a link, like an Instagram or others. And so, if you think about LinkedIn structurally as the way it's structured and set up is really not a marketing channel. It's really a brand building channel, and it's really an authenticity channel, right? And so, to me, it's talk about authenticity is like, okay, well, one thing about posting authentically, but like responding authentically, connecting with people and then sending them just a message. I was at a tech conference at the Stampede where literally the culture at these tech conferences or tech events are like everybody like scans each other's LinkedIn thing and then sends each other, hey, I met you at this whatever, let's get a coffee or whatever. So like it's like actually really well set up as a very authentic sort of communication channel, engagement channel, and then kind of brand building channel, right? So I think that for me, it's like you can even tell by the way their whole ad system is set up that it doesn't really feel like advertising. Whereas, like other channels, even if you're not putting up ads, you have more of an ad type feel to it, right? So,
Yeah.
I think that's the opportunity on LinkedIn.
Isn't there like a stat? I don't know if this stat is still accurate, but like, 20% of the users on LinkedIn are actually producing 80% of the content or
Something
I think it's even
ridiculous like
less.
that.
I think it's even less. I think it's even less. Yeah. It's like a very small
yeah.
percentage of users are
So it's like
producing content.
there's the like you have this captive audience too, right? Like you think about Instagram and like the amount of content from even a thought leadership perspective that you've got to pump out and put out, whereas LinkedIn, your shelf life can be so much longer. I think there's just something interesting there too when you're trying to create that personal brand for yourself and have that conversation. I mean, I think Peter, you're in a great example of like a pretty typical LinkedIn user. I mean, you're the one that's actually generating content, but the way you consume LinkedIn, I feel like is like a good lesson in terms of like, yeah, you're looking at the content people are putting on LinkedIn. You're using that as, okay, I want to be partners with this person. Okay, this gross, don't go there. Yeah.
Or you guys know this, you're on my team. I'm constantly sharing posts from LinkedIn with the rest of you on, hey, look at this person.
Yeah.
They wrote this interesting post about PR or about AI or about whatever, right? So again, we're sharing thought leadership across even our organization outside of the channel, right? So I do that all the time. You guys know that. It's like similar to sharing articles. It's like somebody took the time to share some nuggets of wisdom, some insights that are valuable to us as a business, and that gets shared across our team. Hopefully some of you guys are like, oh gee, that guy looks like a good guy to follow, and now you're following him, right? And that's sort of how it's done, right? And I just feel like Instagram kind of is like that, but in a very different kind of sense, that there's not thought, it's not a thought leadership sort of, in as much as it's more like, this is fun, or I like this, or here's a, whatever. It's just,
Yeah,
this is
it's
different.
very focused on the platform. Like Instagram doesn't want you to go anywhere other than Instagram. Like you can't put links anywhere. You have to put a link to your link in bio where you put all your links. It's focused there, where LinkedIn very much encourages people to explore. And that's where that authenticity, you made me think of, Christina, when I was at the ER the other day, the doctor that saw me, I'm not joking, was wearing cargo shorts and a Hawaiian t-shirt, and he had just got back from vacation. But that was who he was. Like he fit, like the way he chatted with me, the way he went about treating me was low key. Hey, this is what I'm going to do. It was fun. And I felt so comfortable in that because he wasn't wearing a lab coat and scrubs. He was the Hawaiian shirt doctor. So that authenticity that we carry in our day-to-day lives, you can bring that on social media, and you should bring that. And it's great when you can employ, or use content like this where you can showcase it, because can be difficult to showcase with just words on a post, right? That's where those photos and videos come in.
It's so true. I mean, for me, like I've just been thinking about this whole, like, we talk about internally, like LinkedIn being owned media. So it's your own media, got your thought leadership. But like Peter, the way you were talking about it in terms of like you're sharing that with people, it's like actually earned media too. Now you're in front of people that you want to be in front of, and we're now sharing posts and we're extending the reach of those things. And now you're not only a thought leader to me, but I'm sharing Ryan's post and giving him the credibility that I thought it was cool, and I'm moving it forward that way. Like I don't know, I'm having like a light bulb moment in this conversation in terms of like there is something really unique about the LinkedIn thought leadership movement. Can we call it a movement?
Yeah,
That
I would say
does
movement.
stand out, right? Like that is a little bit different from other social platforms. But
But then
when
I
I
think you got
share
to
a
think in that
reel, I was just gonna say when
I
I
was gonna
share
say,
a
you got to
reel,
think in that
there's
context.
less rock, paper, scissors. When I share a reel like to an Instagram story, I'm like sharing it because I think it's fun, or like, oh, cool, they said something about a Capricorn again, and I'm a Capricorn. But when I'm sharing something on LinkedIn, I'm like putting my credentials behind it and
Yeah,
saying,
that's
I
true.
agree with it.
Totally.
So
When you're creating content on LinkedIn for that purpose, then think about how to make it shareable, right? And so, having some nuggets of information, having some lists or whatever, or some, like, and I think that's where it like comes down to is, you went to authenticity, Ryan. It's like sharing like real value at the end of the day, and being willing to share value. I think that's what kind of creates that sort of shareable content.
yeah, and being unapologetic about what you are bringing to the table, because your strategy will rub some people the wrong way and then will inspire and resonate with others, right? And we were going to talk about how AI is shifting thought leadership, but I think we should honestly save that for its own separate conversation, because that's a giant bag of worms. So let's stay on this topic because we're on a roll right now. So then, if we are trying to capture this kind of energy, what are some underrated strategies or maybe even platforms outside of a LinkedIn that you think thought leaders could adopt to, maybe help build that authenticity or that engagement?
I think underrated strategy on LinkedIn is like adding the personal picture, adding the personal moment. I hear from time and time again from clients like, oh, it's a business platform, I don't want to share what I'm eating for lunch. And it's like, well, yeah, but maybe what you're eating for lunch speaks to a broader thought leadership. I mean, this is a little bit where people make fun of LinkedIn in terms of like, how are you going to tie the
Yeah.
whole Coldplay concert, right? Like, how's the CEO going to tie this to
Yes.
business? But like, there is like, again, Peter, you get gold stars here because you are a hiker. You post great photos of where you are. It ties into the fact that we love tourism as a business, ties into what you do in Tourism AI Network, but also showcases who you are, often who we are as a family, and people gravitate to that. So I think underrated LinkedIn thought leadership move, throw on what you're having for lunch.
There you go. Nice.
I'm not sure about the throw on what you're having for lunch piece. I'm just kidding. But I think just like, have a strategy and a content strategy, but also like don't be afraid to like wing it and just like post stuff. Like I honestly just like I have a thought and I post it on LinkedIn sometimes, or sometimes it's like, and I'm the kind of person like I don't even know if I believe half what I say, but like this is like my personality, it's my 7 personality, but it's like sometimes I have to hear it out there to see how I feel about it. So it's like, yeah, I'm gonna post something on LinkedIn that's just some random thoughts and some ideas around something, whether I fully believe it or I fully kind of committed to it as my thought system or not, and put it out there and sort of, one, I can see myself how it feels, 2, I can see how others react to it, you know what I mean? And I think, don't be afraid not to be a little bit controversial. Don't be such a conformist. I think it would be kind of the underrated strategy is like, like you look at a guy like Gary Vee and he's like very unconventional and it really works for him, right?
I think of that it's an interesting comparison, but I feel like it works, is that nobody goes viral trying to be viral is like a social media 101, right? You can't make a viral TikTok by actually trying to make one. The ones that go viral are completely by accident. But that doesn't, you can take that strategy and apply that to what you're doing without the intention of going viral. Like your best performing post could be a picture of what you're having for lunch. It could be a random thought you had on a Sunday, or it could be a big strategy. Like you'd never know what is going to click with an audience. But if you feel confident enough in what you are putting out, then you can at least fall back on that being what you are sharing, and that's where I would leave it. And that's where I've kind of seen, like, don't be so robotic. Don't plan too much. It comes up because people aren't like that 24/7 in life. They are, of course, 8 hours a day usually, but it's not so much when you're online.
And you know what, Ryan? Like business is hard. We're
Yeah.
all just trying to figure this out. The goalposts keep moving. Like
Yeah.
it's war out there, man. And so it's like, like go out there and share your stories and people will be attracted to that, right? Like that's at the end of the
Absolutely.
day. I think people just want, people want to hear people going through similar things that they're going through and like fundamentally and like trying to learn the same things they're trying to learn, right? And I think fundamentally that's the authenticity that actually kind of gets some love on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's all we have time for today. But yeah, we'll definitely save our next big conversation just to how AI is changing thought leadership and how do you stand out when AI is completely fundamentally blowing up how people are even just communicating with each other online and what they're writing. So we will unpack that can of worms in our next episode. But I appreciate your time and your insight as always, my friends.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan.
Well, there you have it. That's a wrap on this episode of the Digital PR Show, where the future is digital and so are we. Make sure you subscribe or catch us on socials at CIPR Comms or on the web at ciprcommunications.com. Talk soon.